Absolute control. Come on, you know you want it, you just don't know how to get it. There is a playbook to this, a step by step process written by Peter Thiel and Mark Zuckerberg. A co founder having 30% stake in Facebook, next day end up with less than 10%. How exactly do they do it? And what lessons can you learn on your journey to screw up your co founder?
The year was 2003. Zuckerberg was in his second year at Harvard and wanted to build a social networking site called the facebook.com. But with all the server costs, he couldn't do it alone without the money in the bank. That's when he came across Eduardo Saverin, a rich Brazilian guy who apparently wore suits during his time at Harvard. Initially, both Mark and Saverin put $1,000 each in the startup. Saverin followed on with additional 15,000. Saverin was not a tech guy. He was good at finance and business. The only reason Zuckerberg got him in was because he had a lot of VC connections. And with Saverin on the board, Mark can easily fund his idea. That's what happened. Facebook.com went live in February 2004, and within months, they had to expand beyond Harvard. Till this time, there were three co founders of Facebook: Mark Zuckerberg, Eduardo Saverin, and Dustin Moskovitz. Given the increasing popularity of Facebook.com, they had incorporated a limited liability company under the Florida laws. Now, this is important part of the trick. The good thing about LLC is you have less compliances and hence higher flexibility. But the bad thing is, investors don't take you seriously unless you have a C Corp company. As Facebook was thriving, Peter Thiel met Mark Zuckerberg. If you don't know who Peter Thiel is, well, why? Peter Thiel was the co founder and CEO of PayPal. We all know that Elon Musk co founded PayPal, right? Well, he kinda did and did not. Peter Thiel co founded PayPal, which ultimately got merged with Elon's X.com. And as the combined entity was called PayPal, that's when Elon also became the co founder of PayPal. So, Peter Thiel was a big guy back then as well. After meeting Peter, the duo of Mark and Dustin moved to Palo Alto in California. But Saverin did not. Well, what a finance guy would do in the Silicon Valley, right? So he moved to the Wall Street to work for Lehman Brothers. Before parting ways, Saverin had a clear mandate of doing three things: incorporating a company, a C Corp, getting the funding, and getting done the business model. While Mark and Dustin were working on the tech part of the business, Saverin completely failed to do what he was asked to. To make things worse, he did something which shouldn't be done by any co founder. He ran free ads on Facebook of another job startup which he was running on the side. What pissed off Mark was the fact that sometime soon Facebook would want to go into the job space, and this was completely conflicting that. This was not enough, that it was also getting harder to get Saverin signed for the crucial papers like forming the C Corp or getting the funding. And then came the last nail in the coffin. Saverin had access to Facebook's bank accounts, which he went on to freeze. Zuckerberg had enough, and that's when he decided to get around Saverin. Peter Thiel, along with Reid Hoffman, were very keen to invest in Facebook. Peter, in an interview, mentioned that Reid had created a social net site in 1997, and they knew that this social networking space is going to boom.
Reid Hoffman and I had done a lot of homework on the whole social networking space. Reid had started a company called SocialNet all the way back in 1997, 7 years earlier.
To get rid of Saverin, though, Peter had a classic trick. In one conversation between Sean Parker and Mark Zuckerberg, Parker mentioned that Peter had learned all these tricks from Michael Moritz of Sequoia. Michael was a very well reputed VC in the Silicon Valley. So the plan went like this. A new company, the Facebook.com, would be incorporated in Delaware. Now this new company would acquire the old LLC company, and eventually lesser shares would be issued to Saverin so that only his stake gets diluted. The plan worked as intended. A new company was incorporated in Delaware, which acquired the old Florida LLC. Peter got on board with his investment of $500,000 for 9% stake. In October, Thiel and Zuckerberg duo convinced Saverin to sign a shareholders agreement. But not only that, they also convinced him to renounce his voting rights to Mark. Now this is something. If you have shareholding in the company but not the voting rights, you don't get to participate in any of the company's business decisions. Mark took advantage of this. He issued 9 million new shares in the new company to everyone except Saverin. The trick had finally worked. Saverin was out of the company and his stake was diluted down from 30% to less than 10%. Worse was, Saverin didn't even find out about this until April, when he got the notice regarding new round of funding. What followed was unending lawsuits from Facebook, Saverin, and Zuckerberg, which ultimately ended in out-of-court settlement in 2009. Though he was screwed by Peter and Mark, Saverin secured a good stake in Facebook, and majority of his $34 billion net worth today is because of Facebook. Comment down below which side of the story you are on. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up and make sure you subscribe for more. See you in the next one.
Mark! Mark! He's wired in. Sorry? He's wired in. Is he? Yes. How about now? You still wired in?